Level 1, $0. $6 in your account. That's not your savings, that's everything. $6 and a paycheck that's already gone before it arrives. 11:47 p.m. You're checking again. You checked an hour ago. You check anyway. The number hasn't moved. It won't move until Friday. Rent took half. The phone bill took the rest. The last $40 disappeared into a subscription you forgot to cancel. And somehow, this keeps happening. You are not broke because of one bad decision. You are broke because of 100 small ones that didn't feel like decisions at the time. You eat what's cheap, rice, eggs, whatever's on clearance. You stop buying fruit because fruit goes bad, and wasting food when you're this low feels like a crime. You know the exact price of everything in your kitchen, not because you're smart with money, because money doesn't give you the option to be careless. Your friends say, let's go out. You say maybe next time. You've said maybe next time 11 times. They stopped asking. You didn't notice when they stopped because you were doing math. You're always doing math. Standing in line at the gas station doing math. Lying in bed doing math. Brushing your teeth doing math. Not complicated math. Survival math. If I don't buy this, I can afford that. If I skip this, I make it to Friday. The bank app is the most opened app on your phone. More than messages, more than anything. You open it, stare at the number, close it. Open it again like the number might change if you look hard enough. Notification, overdraft fee, $34. You just lost $34 for being poor. That's the part nobody explains. Being broke costs money. The fee for not having enough is more money taken from what you don't have. You sit on the edge of your bed and feel something that isn't anger and isn't sadness. Just wait. A low, heavy hum that never fully goes away. You don't talk about money. Not because you're private, because there's nothing to say. Everyone around you is doing the same math. Nobody admits it. Everyone pretends Friday isn't the only day that matters. At zero, money isn't a tool. It isn't a goal. It's oxygen. You're either breathing or you're not. And most days, you can't tell which one it is. Level 2, $500. You're finally not negative. For the first time in months, the number on your screen doesn't tighten your chest. But $500 isn't safety, it's a pause. One flat tire, one urgent care visit, one broken phone screen, and you're back to zero. You know this because you've been here before. You've touched $500 3 times and lost it 3 times. This time you guard it like it's the last of something important. You still check your balance every morning, not panic anymore. Habit. The panic trained you to check, and now you can't stop. But something is different. The overdraft notifications stopped. That silence from your bank feels like the loudest victory you've ever had. You buy groceries, and for the first time in months, you don't calculate the total before you reach the register. You just put things in the cart. Normal things. Things that aren't on clearance. You grab the name brand cereal. You stand there holding it for a second, like it means something. It does. Not because of cereal, because of what it represents. You can afford to stop calculating, even if it's just for one trip. You set a rule. Don't drop below $300. You break it in the second week. Car needed gas, laundry needed quarters, life needed its cut. You rebuild it by the end of the month. That cycle of losing and rebuilding becomes your first lesson in something you don't have a name for yet. Discipline. You're not comfortable, you're not secure, but you're not drowning. And after months of drowning, the feeling of just floating feels like flying. The first rule. Below $1,000 money is air. You're either breathing or you're not. Level 3. $1,000. 4 digits. You've never seen this number before. You screenshot it. You don't send it to anyone. But you keep it on your phone like proof that something shifted. You stare at it like it might disappear. Because you've watched numbers climb before, and you've watched them collapse faster. $1,000 feels less like an achievement and more like a dare. Can you hold it? Can you keep it? Or does life take it back? You set a rule. Don't drop below $800. You break it in the first month. A medical bill you didn't expect. Breaks that couldn't wait. You watch the number fall, and your stomach falls with it. But this time, something different happens. You rebuild it. Not in a week, not easily, but you rebuild it. And rebuilding teaches you more than building ever did. You start paying attention to where money goes. Not budgeting, not spreadsheets, just awareness. You notice $7 here, $12 there, a coffee you didn't need, a delivery fee you could have avoided. Small leaks you never saw when you were drowning, because when you're drowning, you don't notice the holes. You notice them now. Something changes in the way you carry yourself. Not confidence, not yet, but the desperation fades. The panic softens. You stop saying maybe next time when friends ask you out. You say yes once, just once. And you sit at that table and you order without doing math in your head, and for one evening, you feel like a person who doesn't think about money every second of every day. You're not safe, you're not comfortable, but you're standing. And after crawling for so long, standing feels like something you can't afford to lose. Level 4, $5,000. Something changes in your posture. You don't notice it, other people do. The panic is gone, not replaced by confidence, just absence. The weight you carried at zero lifts and leaves nothing behind. And that nothing feels like everything. You stop checking daily, maybe every few days, then less. The app is still there, but it stopped being the first thing you open in the morning. That alone feels like progress. You can't explain to anyone who hasn't lived below $1,000. An unexpected bill comes, $400, car repair, the kind of number that would have destroyed you 6 months ago. You pay it, you absorb it. Your balance drops, but your chest doesn't tighten. That feeling of absorbing a hit without collapsing, that's new. That's the difference between surviving and standing. You start noticing something else, people around you who are still at zero. You recognize it instantly. The hesitation before ordering, the phone check under the table, the quick laugh when the bill comes. You know that math. You used to be that math. You say nothing, but you see it. And seeing it changes how you understand what $5,000 actually means. It doesn't mean you're rich. It doesn't mean you're comfortable. It means you have room. Room to breathe. Room to make one mistake without losing everything. Room to think about next month instead of just surviving this week. You start reading. Not motivation, not inspiration. Mechanics. How money actually works. Compound interest. Index funds. Words that used to sound like a foreign language start making sense. You open an investment app. You stare at it for 2 weeks before putting anything in. When you finally move $200 into it, your hand hesitates over the button like you're signing something permanent. The second rule, $5,000 is where money stops being survival and starts being a decision. And decisions are what change everything. Level 5, $10,000, 5 figures. You've never seen a number like this next to your name. You sit with it. Not excitement, disbelief, the kind that makes you refresh the screen twice. You don't tell anyone, because you don't know who would understand what this number actually means. To most people, $10,000 is a used car. To you, it's proof that every skipped night out, every store brand, every no actually led somewhere, the first week you check it constantly. Not anxiety this time, protection. You watch it like something you built yourself, carefully, quietly, like noise might break it, something shifts. Not about money, about time. Not how do I survive this month, but what happens if I keep doing this for 5 years? You open a spreadsheet at midnight. The projection isn't exciting, it's just math. But it's the first time the math showed you something other than fear. You put $1,500 into an index fund. The market dips the next day. Every instinct screams, pull it out. You don't. You let the number be read for a day, then 2, then a week. And somewhere in that silence between wanting to react and choosing not to, you learn something no book could have taught you. Patience isn't natural, it's a skill, and it costs something every time you use it. The $1,500 returns $63 in 3 months. It's nothing, it's everything, because you didn't do anything to earn it. It just appeared, and that tiny number changes the entire way you understand wealth. The third rule, $10,000 is where you stop working for money and money starts showing you what it can do on its own. Level 6, $25,000. You feel stable. For the first time in your life, it applies to you. Bills are covered, savings is growing. The emergency fund actually exists. Everything they told you would work is working. And then one night you sit down with a calculator and ruin it. You project your salary forward. 30 years, same job, same raises, same savings rate. The number at the end is fine. It's enough. But you stare at it and something cracks. Not panic, disappointment. The kind that seeps in slowly like cold air through a window you can't find. Your salary has a ceiling. You just never looked up long enough to see it. Every raise is already mapped out. Someone in HR decided your peak years before you were hired. You're not climbing, you're on a conveyor belt, and the belt has an end. You look at people 10 years ahead of you. Same title, same desk, same commute, nicer cars, slightly bigger apartments. But the look behind their eyes is the same. They traded time for stability. And it worked. But it only worked once. You don't quit. But something shifts. Your evenings go to something else. A side project, not a business, not yet. Just a thing that makes $300 a month. Then $500. You don't tell anyone. You reinvest every dollar. Not because you're greedy, because you saw it. And you refuse to build your life underneath it. Pride for how far you've come. Fear for how far you haven't gone. That tension becomes the engine that drives everything next. The fourth rule, salary is a ceiling dressed up as a floor. The moment you see it, you can't unsee it. Level 7, $50,000. Half of 6 figures. You can feel it pulling you forward. Like gravity, finally working in your favor. Your side project isn't a side project anymore. It's making $1,700 a month. Some months more than your paycheck. You still go to work. You still sit at the desk. But you're not trapped behind it. You're choosing to be there. That difference changes everything about how you walk into that building every morning. Your money does something you've never seen before. It makes money. Your investments return $2,100 in a single year. You start measuring time differently. Every hour spent on something that doesn't grow feels like a leak. Not wasted, leaked. You become protective of your evenings, your weekends, your mornings before work. These hours used to be rest. Now they're runway. People around you start noticing. Not because you talk about money, you don't. But something shifted and they can feel it. They don't know what changed, you don't explain it. Because explaining $50,000 to someone at $500 feels like speaking a language they haven't learned yet. You start saying no. A weekend trip, you'd have to put on a credit card. A round of drinks you'd feel guilty about tomorrow. A loan to a friend who never paid back the last one. No. 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 Each one costs you something socially. Each one saves you something financially. And you've started keeping score differently now. The fifth rule, at $50,000, you stop spending money to look like you have it. You start keeping it so you don't need to. Level 8, $100,000, 6 figures. You've crossed a line most people talk about but never touch. And the strangest part is how quiet it feels. No fireworks, no celebration. Just a number on a screen that used to feel impossible, now sitting there like it's always been there. The bank treats you differently. Calls from advisors you didn't ask for. Emails about wealth management. Words like portfolio and diversification thrown around like you've always belonged. You haven't. 6 months ago you were Googling what an index fund was. They don't know that. They just see the number. People sense it too. Not because you tell them. You've stopped talking about money entirely. But something changed in how you carry yourself, the way you don't flinch at restaurant bills, the way you stopped checking prices before ordering. It's subtle, but people feel it. And their reactions split into 2 categories, jealousy or dismissal. Neither is useful. You start saying no. A destination wedding that would cost $3,000 you'd never get back. A group vacation where you'd quietly subsidize 3 people. A business idea pitched by a friend over drinks who doesn't know the difference between revenue and profit. No, no, no. Some months you're up $4,000. Some months you're down $3,000. The losses used to keep you up at night. Now it's just weather. You've learned to dress for rain without canceling the trip. Your life doesn't look dramatically different from the outside. Same car, same apartment, same routine. But underneath everything shifted. You're not building on sand anymore. You're building on something that holds weight. And the weight you're about to put on it is something you couldn't even picture when you had $6. Level 9. $500,000. $500,000. Your money has a personality now. It moves in certain directions and resists others. You've had one investment return $22,000 in 8 months. You've had another lose $9,000. You don't panic about the loss, not because you don't care about $9,000. You do. But you understand now that this is the cost of being in the game. You don't pull back, you reposition, you hire someone to manage it. You fire them within the year when you realize you know your situation better than they do. You find someone better, someone who charges more and says less. Your social circle shifted without you noticing, not dramatically, quietly. The people you spend time with now think differently about money. They don't talk about cost, they talk about return. The conversations changed, the vocabulary changed, and somewhere in that shift, the people who knew you at $0 started feeling further away. Not because you pushed them, the distance built itself. You start thinking in assets, not income, not savings, assets, things that earn while you sleep, things that grow while you're not watching. Your income from your job still matters, but it's no longer the main character. It's a supporting role in a story that's gotten bigger than any paycheck could carry. The sixth rule: below $500,000, you buy assets. Above it, assets start buying assets. Level 10, $1,000, a Tuesday. Nothing ceremonial about it. Your app updates. The number is there, 7 figures. You sit with it. You thought you'd feel different. You thought there'd be more. There's quiet satisfaction. Then almost immediately, a realization. $1,000 at 4% return is $40,000 a year. That's not freedom. That's a starting point. The milestone everyone chases turns out to be a door, not a destination. You walk through it, and the room on the other side is bigger than you imagined. You stop telling yourself you'll feel complete at the next number, because you said that at $10,000. You said it at $100,000. You said it at $500,000. The finish line keeps moving, not because you're greedy, because the game keeps revealing levels you didn't know existed. Your problems change, not disappear, change. Tax strategy replaces budgeting. Asset protection replaces saving. Estate planning replaces emergency funds. The vocabulary of your life rewrites itself. Words you never heard at $0 now run your daily decisions. People treat you differently, and you can't tell if they see you or the number. Old friends act strange around you. Some ask for money without asking for money. Some disappear without explanation. Some stay, but the ease is gone. The seventh rule: $1,000 doesn't change your life. It reveals what your life was actually building toward, and what you find on the other side is never what you thought you were building toward. Level 11, $10,000. You don't check prices. You don't check your balance. You stopped checking months ago. The number doesn't move in ways that matter anymore. It just sits there, growing, quietly, like something alive that learned to feed itself. Your problems now have names you'd never heard at $0. Trust structures, estate vehicles, tax jurisdictions. You walk into rooms you used to only read about, not because of fame, not because of connections, because your capital and your pattern recognition are useful to the people already sitting there. That's a different kind of invitation, not courtesy, utility. You make a decision that would have kept you up for weeks 5 years ago. A company you're invested in restructures, 140 jobs gone. You review the position you hold. The margin improves, your investment grows. You don't feel good about it. You don't feel bad about it. You feel the distance now. The gap between your decisions and their consequences widened so slowly you didn't notice until it was already permanent. The isolation isn't loneliness, it's something else. The people who knew you at $6 can't reach your life anymore, and you can't reach theirs. Not because you don't care. The context doesn't translate anymore. You give more than you ever have, not for reputation, because at this level, giving is one of the few things that still feels real. The ninth rule: above $10,000 money stops measuring your worth. It starts measuring your reach. And reach changes everything it touches, including you. Somewhere right now, a 22-year-old is standing in a grocery store. Their balance is 214s. They're doing the math. They put the good coffee back. They get the store brand. They think this is a story about money. It isn't. It's a story about the gap between who you are and who you become. The account opens every morning. It doesn't care who you are. It doesn't ask if you're ready. It takes whoever shows up. Consistently, patiently, without flinching. The money compounds. And so do you. The balance is $214. It always starts there. It always will.